Welcome to Group 2, Important Documents. In this section, you will learn about the most important documents in United States history and what they mean. These documents are the foundation of the country. They explain how the government works, what rights people have, and what freedoms Americans are protected by. In this group, you will learn about the U.S. Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. You will understand what the Constitution does, how it forms the government, defines the powers of government, defines the parts of government, and protects the rights of the people. You will also learn how the Constitution can change through amendments and why those changes are important. You'll study the Bill of Rights, which protects the basic rights and freedoms of people living in the United States. Another major document in this group is the Declaration of Independence. You will learn why it is important, how it declared freedom from Britain, and how it introduced powerful ideas like equality, liberty, and natural rights. You'll also hear the famous words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This group will also teach you about other important writings that influenced America, such as the Federalist Papers, the Articles of Confederation, the Mayflower Compact, and more. You will learn why the Federalist Papers were written and how they helped people understand and support the Constitution. You'll also study important amendments like the 10th Amendment, which explains powers of states and the people, and the 14th Amendment, which explains who is a U.S. citizen. And you will learn about the Emancipation Proclamation, which helped free slaves during the Civil War. So in simple words, Group 2 is all about America's most important documents: the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, amendments, and other writings that shape the country. Watch carefully, understand the meaning of these documents, and remember the key ideas. Let's begin Group 2, Important Documents.
What is the supreme law of the land? U.S. Constitution.
From Indian tribes or Indian words, such as Mississippi, which is also the name of America's longest river. Two of the Great Lakes are named for tribes, Huron and Erie. A range of the Rocky Mountains is named for the Teton tribe. The capital of Wyoming is named for the Cheyenne, a tribe that once roamed from Montana to Oklahoma. More than a dozen places in the United States are named for the Cherokee. Mohawk is now the name of towns and a lake, and a distinct style of...
Quick recall. What is the supreme law of the land? U.S. Constitution. Name one thing the U.S. Constitution does. Forms the government, defines powers of government, defines the parts of government, protects the rights of the people.
Name one thing the U.S. Constitution does. Think of the Constitution as the main rulebook for the United States. It explains how the country should be run, and it helps keep the government organized and fair. One important thing it does is it forms the government. That means it creates the system we use, like having leaders in courts, instead of one person controlling everything. It also defines the parts of government, meaning it shows the main branches like Congress, the President, and the courts, and explains what each part is. The Constitution also defines powers of government. This means it clearly tells what the government is allowed to do, and it helps limit power so the government cannot do anything it wants. And it also protects the rights of the people. This means it helps keep important freedoms safe, like basic rights that people should have in everyday life. So if you hear this question in the exam, you only need to say one correct line. Forms the government, defines powers of government, defines the parts of government, or protects the rights of the people.
Quick recall. Name one thing the U.S. Constitution does. Forms the government, defines powers of government, defines the parts of government, protects the rights of the people. How are changes made to the U.S. Constitution? Amendments. The amendment process.
How are changes made to the U.S. Constitution? The U.S. Constitution is the main rulebook of the United States. It was written to last a long time, so it is not changed quickly. But sometimes, the country grows and new situations come up. So the Constitution needs an update. Those changes are made through amendments. An amendment is an official change or addition to the Constitution. Think of it like adding a new rule to the country's top rulebook. The way this happens is called the amendment process. This means there are special steps that must be followed, and the change must be approved by many leaders and states. This makes sure the Constitution is only changed when the country strongly agrees. So, in the exam, you only need to say one correct response: amendments or the amendment process. Any one is enough.
Quick recall. How are changes made to the U.S. Constitution? Amendments. The amendment process. What does the Bill of Rights protect? The basic rights of Americans. The basic rights of people living in the United States.
What does the Bill of Rights protect? The Bill of Rights is a special part of the U.S. Constitution. It is a list of important freedoms that people should have, so the government cannot treat people unfairly or take away basic liberties. In simple words, it protects the basic rights of Americans. These are rights like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to a fair trial. It helps make sure people can live with freedom and safety under the law. It also protects the basic rights of people living in the United States. That means it is not only about citizens. Many of these basic protections apply to people who live in the U.S. and are under U.S. law, so they are treated fairly and with respect. Here's an everyday example. Imagine a school has a rule that everyone deserves to be treated fairly and can speak up respectfully. The Bill of Rights is like that, but for the whole country. It sets limits so the government cannot cross certain lines. So in the exam, you can say either one: the basic rights of Americans or the basic rights of people living in the United States. Any one is enough.
Quick recall. What does the Bill of Rights protect? The basic rights of Americans. The basic rights of people living in the United States. Why is the Declaration of Independence important? It says America is free from British control. It says all people are created equal. It identifies inherent rights. It identifies individual freedoms.
Why is the Declaration of Independence important? The Declaration of Independence is an important document in U.S. history because it explained why the American colonies wanted to become a new country. One key reason is it says America is free from British control. It was the official statement that the colonies were no longer going to be ruled by Britain. The Declaration also shares a powerful idea about people. It says all people are created equal. This means people are born with the same basic value, and no one is meant to be treated as less because of who they are. It also explains human rights. It identifies inherent rights. These are rights people have just because they are human, not because a government gives them permission. And it also talks about freedom in daily life. It identifies individual freedoms. That means people should have personal liberty, like the ability to make choices and live without unfair control. So in the exam, you only need to say one correct line. You can choose any one from the list. Any one is enough.
Quick recall. Why is the Declaration of Independence important? It says America is free from British control. It says all people are created equal. It identifies inherent rights. It identifies individual freedoms. What founding document said the American colonies were free from Britain? Declaration of Independence.
What founding document said the American colonies were free from Britain? Long ago, the American colonies were ruled by Britain, but the colonies wanted to become their own country. They wanted to make their own laws and choose their own future. To do that, they needed an official written statement that clearly told Britain and the world, we are no longer under British control. That founding document is the Declaration of Independence. It is the paper that announced the colonies were separating from Britain and becoming independent. Here's an easy example. Imagine you are part of a team that is controlled by another team, and you want to start your own team with your own rules. You would need a clear message that says, we are now separate. The Declaration of Independence was that message for the American colonies. So in the exam, the correct response is simple. Declaration of Independence. Any one is enough.
Quick recall. What founding document said the American colonies were free from Britain? Declaration of Independence. Name 2 important ideas from the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Equality, liberty, social contract, natural rights, limited government, self-government.
Name 2 important ideas from the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. These 2 documents explain what the United States believes and how the government should work. They focus on big ideas that guide the country and protect people. One important idea is equality. This means people should be treated fairly and everyone has the same basic value. Another big idea is liberty, which means freedom, like being able to live your life without unfair control. The documents also support the idea of a social contract. This means the people agree to follow laws, and the government agrees to protect the people. Along with that, they talk about natural rights. These are rights you have just because you are human, like basic freedom and safety. Another key idea is limited government. This means the government cannot do anything it wants. Its power has rules and limits. And finally, there is self-government, which means the people choose their leaders and have a say in how the country is run. So in the exam, you only need to name 2 ideas. You can choose any 2, like equality and liberty, or natural rights and limited government. Any 2 are enough.
Quick recall. Name 2 important ideas from the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Equality, liberty, social contract, natural rights, limited government, self-government. The words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are in what founding document? Declaration of Independence.
The words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are in what founding document? These words are part of a famous sentence that explains what people deserve as basic rights. They remind us that every person should be able to live safely, be free, and have a chance to build a good life. These words are found in the Declaration of Independence. This is the founding document, where the American colonies told the world they were becoming independent from Britain, and it also explained the important values the new country believed in. Here's a simple way to remember it. If you think of the Declaration of Independence as the country's freedom statement, these words describe what freedom should protect: life, liberty, and happiness. So in the exam, the correct response is Declaration of Independence. Anyone is enough.
Quick recall. The words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are in what founding document? Declaration of Independence. Many documents influence the U.S. Constitution. Name 1. Declaration of Independence. Articles of Confederation. Federalist Papers. Anti-Federalist Papers. Virginia Declaration of Rights. Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Mayflower Compact. Iroquois Great Law of Peace.
Many documents influenced the U.S. Constitution. Name 1. When the United States was building its government, the leaders did not start from zero. They learned from older ideas, earlier rules, and important writings. These documents helped shape what the Constitution would become and how the new government should work. Some documents explained freedom and rights, like the Declaration of Independence and the Virginia Declaration of Rights. Some were early forms of government rules, like the Articles of Confederation, the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, and the Mayflower Compact. Some were writings that helped people understand and debate the Constitution, like the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers. And some ideas about government and peace also influenced the country, like the Iroquois Great Law of Peace. So in the exam, you only need to name 1 document from the list. You can say Declaration of Independence or any other one you remember. Any one is enough.
Quick recall. Many documents influence the U.S. Constitution. Name 1. Declaration of Independence. Articles of Confederation. Federalist Papers. Anti-Federalist Papers. Virginia Declaration of Rights. Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Mayflower Compact. Iroquois Great Law of Peace. What is the purpose of the 10th Amendment? It states that the powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or to the people.
What is the purpose of the 10th Amendment? The 10th Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights and it helps explain how power is shared in the United States. The U.S. government has a national government called the federal government, and it also has state governments. The 10th Amendment helps keep a balance between them. Its purpose is this. It states that the powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or to the people. That means the federal government can only do the things the Constitution allows it to do. If the Constitution does not give a certain power to the federal government, that power stays with the states or with the people. Here's an easy example. Imagine a school has a main office and also classrooms. The main office has certain jobs like making school-wide rules. But if a rule is not listed as a main office job, it may be handled by the classroom teacher or the students. In the same way, the 10th Amendment says not all power goes to the federal government. So, for the exam, keep it short and clear. Powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or to the people. Anyone is enough.
Quick recall. What is the purpose of the 10th Amendment? It states that the powers not given to the federal government belong to the states or to the people. What founding document was written in 1787? U.S. Constitution.
What founding document was written in 1787? After the United States became independent, the country needed strong rules for how the government should work. The leaders wanted a clear plan for making laws, choosing leaders, and protecting people's rights, so they wrote an important founding document in the year 1787. That document is the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution is the main rulebook for the United States. It explains the structure of the government, like Congress, the President, and the courts. It also explains what the government can do and what it cannot do. Here's an easy way to remember it. 1787 is the year the country wrote its top rulebook. That top rulebook is the U.S. Constitution. So in the exam, the correct response is simple: U.S. Constitution. Anyone is enough.
Quick recall. What founding document was written in 1787? U.S. Constitution. Why were the Federalist Papers important? They helped people understand the U.S. Constitution. They supported passing the U.S. Constitution.
Why were the Federalist Papers important? When the U.S. Constitution was created, not everyone agreed right away. Many people had questions. They wanted to know how the new government would work and whether it would be fair. So a group of writers created a set of essays to explain the Constitution more clearly. That is why the Federalist Papers mattered. They helped people understand the U.S. Constitution. They explained ideas like why the government needed 3 branches, how checks and balances work, and how the new system would protect the country. The Federalist Papers were also important because they supported passing the U.S. Constitution. The writers wanted the states to approve the Constitution, so these essays were written to persuade people and build trust in the new plan for government. Here's a simple example. Imagine a school creates a new rule book, and families are unsure about it. The school might send a clear explanation to help everyone understand the rules and feel confident about them. That's what the Federalist Papers did for the Constitution. So in the exam, you can say either one line and you will be correct. Anyone is enough.
Quick recall. Why were the Federalist Papers important? They helped people understand the U.S. Constitution. They supported passing the U.S. Constitution. What amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are U.S. citizens? 14th Amendment.
What amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are U.S. citizens? This question is asking about the rule in the Constitution that explains who is a citizen of the United States. The key idea is citizenship. If a person is born in the United States, the Constitution says they are a U.S. citizen. And if a person was not born in the U.S. but later becomes a citizen through the legal process, that is called being naturalized. This amendment makes that rule clear. That amendment is the 14th Amendment. It is important because it clearly defines U.S. citizenship and helps protect people's rights under the law. So for the exam, your response can be short and confident. 14th Amendment. Anyone is enough.
Quick recall. What amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are U.S. citizens? 14th Amendment.